Hello and happy Monday. Welcome to your early morning intuitive guidance. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, here with some words of wisdom to start your day off well and give you some things to think about. This one is very thought provoking, I think, and we'll see how far into my notes we get with this one today. It may end up being a 2 or 3 dayer. We shall see. But I want to at least get us started thinking about this as a way of processing some of what's going on right now and other things. Good morning and welcome to whomever just popped on. Glad you are here. And let's start with the breath. A little bit of tapping. I have my yoga shirt on today. It's yoga morning. Good morning, Barb. Welcome. Glad you are here. Let's take a nice deep breath in and out. Good morning, Nancy. Look at all those flowers. Thank you. Thank you. And I was wandering my front yard yesterday, and there actually were some flowers popping up. My guess is it's the hyacinths. We shall see. Breathe in, breathe out. Taking in life fully. And you may be thinking, why would I want to take in what's going on fully? Wait till you hear some of today's stuff. I think it will help with that. Breathe in, breathe out. Welcome to whomever else is on here. Looks like there's 3 people, but I've only said hi to 2 of you, so something isn't showing up on here yet. But yeah, it says can't post comments to some destinations. We'll figure it out eventually. Breathe in, breathe out. Doesn't that feel good? Just check in with your body. Actually, let's do a body scan. You can close your eyes, not if you're driving, and just scan your body from head to toe. And feel into, are there any areas of discomfort? If so, just breathe into them. Just breathe into them. See if you can bring them back online. Good morning, Miss Lynn. Glad you are here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, Beth. Waving back. This is good. Practical Rebels starting to pop in. This is such interesting information, and I'm going to give you the YouTube channel I found this on, and definitely go watch the actual recording of this because it was so much information. But you know how, well, many years ago, I walked into a retreat. It was on Hilton Head Island, and it was from the National Institute for the Clinical Application of Behavioral Medicine. Yeah, NICABM. You can see why they go for an acronym. Anyway, it was the first time in my life when I walked in someplace and felt like I'm home. This fits. This is where I belong. And in this stuff I'm going to share, he talks about belonging and that those of us who felt a lack of a sense of belonging may be part of this cohort that he's talking about. Who am I talking about? Edgar Cayce. So if you're unfamiliar with Edgar Cayce, interesting soul. Back toward the turn of the last century, 30s, 40s, I believe, he was psychic and probably kind of similar to now where there's people who look askance at that sort of thing. I'm one of those people that I'll bring in information from many different resources and kind of see what fits for me. But as I was watching this little video, I want to say it was like 13 or 15 minutes long. I had to keep pausing because I was taking so many notes. I think I ended up with 5 pages of notes because it fit so well. It made so much sense. So I'm hoping that it also makes sense for you. And I think most of you are on here will fall into this cohort that he's talking about. But even if you don't, even if you were born outside this cohort, gather the message. Gather the message because I think we all have our role to play in this and to have a sense of a framework within which to put this stuff. Good morning, my dear. Glad you are here. Miss Jonil is in the house. To have a framework within which to put this stuff is so helpful. So helpful. Especially when things get dicey. And we have a whole lot of dicey stuff going on right now. So, the YouTube site on which I found this is called Beyondin, Beyondin. And this particular one, this video was entitled Edgar Cayce, Final Plan for Souls Born 1945 to 1965. Now, notice how closely that dovetails with baby boomers, right? So he started out, the man who was the narrator sharing this information. If you've asked yourself this question, why does life feel like I'm carrying something that I was never fully told about? Why does life feel like I'm carrying something I was never fully told about? And he said that for this particular cohort, and I'm going to get ahead of things. You listened to that. Oh, fabulous. Oh, good. So there's one of you in the know already. That's awesome. Yeah, this was powerful stuff, I thought. It certainly made so much stuff make more sense. He basically said, and this is such an interesting word, we are positioned. We were born with a plan. Okay. And he said, our plan is only now unfolding. Most of us have this um ooh, I just saw the moon. There. Ooh, shiny. Literally. Beautiful. Good morning, moon. Um, most of us have this belief that the best years of our lives are past. If we're in this cohort, we believe the best years of our life are past. Wrong, wrong, wrong. He's basically saying we're just coming into our life's work. It's time. It's time. Are we ready? Okay. So the verbiage in this is so awesome also. So I wrote many of the things down in ways that captured what the words that he used, because I just thought they were so powerful. Major planetary conflicts create deep wounds in the collective human consciousness. Just pause on that for a moment. There are forces that are acting that leave wounds and have left wounds historically in human beings. And we carry in our DNA that woundedness. The Sophia book I'm reading right now is very focused on how do we heal those wounds and bring more of our DNA back online. He says it's not just political or economic, but it's spiritual woundedness. These things that have taken place created spiritual wounds. There's research now that's showing that if an ancestor experienced a trauma of a certain kind, for instance, a snake bite, the DNA literally changed, and moving forward, you may get 3 or 4 generations down, and there's a plethora of family members who have an inordinate fear of snakes, never having encountered a snake. Where did that come from? Certainly that has survival value, doesn't it? So it would make sense that that carries down in the DNA. And I know that this is one of those concepts that people are likely to go, "You're nuts, lady. You're absolutely nuts." I want you to take a moment and look back through history. How many things that someone brought forth when they first brought it forth were met with, "You're nuts, lady. You're nuts, man." Most of them. Most of them. What was craziness in one generation is commonplace in another, right? So, this I thought was interesting also. Remember how we've talked about there being a fabric of humanity? And actually, Madeleine L'Engle, in one of her books, maybe 2 of her books, talked about, and they were ostensibly children's books, but talked about the rip in the fabric of humanity. And so this says there's fractures in the invisible fabric that holds human civilization together. And that this particular cohort, 1945 to 65, is here to mend those tears in the fabric. In response to those fractures, the universe deploys specific kinds of souls who are sent with a purpose aligned with the nature of the wounds that need healing. So, how many of us, as I look at the names in our list here, how many of us are in healing kind of positions, whether it's our vocation or our avocation. How many of us are here doing good, right? And how many of us feel like there's something more I'm meant to be doing? I'm being pulled, but I can't quite figure out yet what this thing is. Well, this video made me go, ah, now I get it. Now I get it. These souls carry accumulated soul wisdom. They are ancient souls who've lived through other civilizational collapses. How many people do you know that even when they were young, you thought, oh my God, this is an old soul? My children, my son and my daughter, I don't know as though I'd call them indigo children or any of that, but they were just wizened old souls from the moment they hit planet Earth. And if I look at what they're doing right now in their world, there's tons of focusing on others. My son helps organize farm workers, migrants, etc., out on the West Coast. My daughter, she brings home every stray there is. She's very attuned to the others. So interestingly, I think, yes, he's talking about this cohort from 1945 to 1965. But think about that. If we're that cohort and we parent other individuals, is it not likely that what we came here to accomplish, we have now instilled in our next generation? Absolutely. And with this grandbaby that's coming, I already sense she's here to make a difference. She's going to be here to make a difference. So now talking about the kinds of wounds that human beings, including the human beings who came in this cohort, experience. He says, Edgar Cayce says, this was curriculum. These souls needed to stand with one foot in the old world and one foot in the new. Listen to this wording. I just think this is so beautiful. Understanding tradition deeply enough to honor it, and understanding change deeply enough to guide it. Mic drop. I mean, that to me is so powerful. If one of you could put that in the feed, I would love it. Let me read it again. These souls needed to stand with one foot in the old world and one foot in the new, understanding tradition deeply enough to honor it, and understanding change deeply enough to guide it. Their mission is to be the living bridge between two eras, built to stand in the middle, exactly where the world needs us to stand. And how many of you, raise your hand, read Carolyn Meese's Sacred Contracts years ago when it first came out? There was tons of buzz about sacred contracts. That's exactly what he's talking about. And he was talking about it prior to her writing about it. He believed in sacred contracts made before incarnating, so that we chose this. We came here to do this work. And for me, that's actually been helpful. Look at that. Yes, me. Yes. We came here to do this work. And for me, that's helpful to know, because sometimes it's like, this is a shit show. Get me the hell out of here. We're here for a reason. And interestingly, I'll see if I can get through that much of it. Let me see how far we go. Yeah. Today, let's plan on going through the 5 signs that you're one of these folks. All right. So he says, souls who choose service-based purpose almost always choose lifetimes with maximum friction in the early years. So we choose to be born into crap. You have it on cassette. Oh, wow. Fabulous. Because wisdom cannot be downloaded, it can only be earned. Let's put that in the feed if someone wouldn't mind. Wisdom cannot be downloaded, it can only be earned. And let's credit Edgar Cayce with that. It's Cayce. So, to encapsulate that, he says, That contract wasn't just about what we would endure, it was about what we would become because of it. The crappy things that have happened to us have cracked us open, have made us more available on a heart and soul level. We've had enough friction. We shall see. We shall see. We certainly feel that way, don't we? Like, okay, enough already. But again, we are right on the cusp of all of that learning, all of that friction coming to fruition. Us being in the position to do what we came here to do, right? It has taken a lifetime, many lifetimes, to get to this place. So, if everything we've been through is preparation, what is it that we are now prepared for? The answer is already living within us. And he said there were 5 signs that this is what's unfolding for you. So let's see how many of these fit for you. I was 5 for 5. Let's see how many fit for you. Number 1, a weariness that sleep cannot fix. That's a reliable marker of an old soul with a heavy mission. It's the accumulated emotional and spiritual weight of many previous lifetimes and of carrying pain for others. We tend to do that. We tend to do that. Number 2. So the first one is a weariness that sleep cannot fix. Number 2, a lifelong sense of not belonging. I kept looking for the adoption papers. I was sure there was some piece missing here. A quiet sense of not fully fitting anywhere. Anyone else can relate? This is because souls with bridge missions are specifically designed to not fully belong to any single side. To belong means to lose neutrality. I don't always feel very neutral, though. That's interesting. Yeah. Their displacement was intentional. So if you feel like you're spanning 2 worlds, you are. You are. Maybe even more than 2. Maybe even more than 2. Number 3, the ability to sense collapse before others do. And that has been a bane of my existence. I would say, this is going to be a shit show. This is going to fall apart. This is not going to end up well. And everybody was very much like, you are such a worry wart. Will you just let this go? You can't know that. Why are you writing the future? Blah, 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 blah. And really, then when it was a shit show, it wasn't like there was any validation that I had felt that coming. It was more like, man, you're just nuts. You're just nuts. Souls with deep experiential memory often demonstrate pattern recognition at the level of civilization. To me, there's that feeling that goes with that, but I've never been able to really spell it out. But that nails it. Pattern recognition at the level of situation. Doing a breath work one time, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago, I had I'm going to call it a flashback to being someone who was in charge of a group of people, men, who were moving a gigantic slab of marble, and they weren't listening to my guidance, and it ended up breaking loose and crushing a bunch of them as it rolled back down the hill. And the devastation I felt because of that. That makes total sense to me now. Yeah, at the time I was like, I must be crazy. Nope, don't think so. Number 4, an irresistible pull toward healing, teaching, and guiding others. Again, whether it's your job or something you just do, people are attracted to you. You're sitting on a bus stop bench and someone tells you their life story. I know a bunch of your hands would go up if I asked how many of you resonate with that. Yes. This is the soul's mission leaking through the personality, whether the person acknowledges it or not. There are those who are just jumped onto LinkedIn to see, okay, there we go. And then the 5th one is a feeling our most important work is still ahead. I have had that pull, and there's been so many, I've tried to force writing a book. That doesn't work. but it feels like that book is in me, but it's not time yet. And I'm thinking, I'm 65. When are we going to get on with this? But I've always been very impatient. But it fits that now is when some of this stuff is going to come to fruition. So he says, these souls, those who resonate with these 5 things, suffer more, not because we're weaker, but because we're more open. The very qualities that make these souls powerful, sensitivity, deep empathy, ability to sense what others cannot, are the same qualities that make them absorb pain at a level that most people are simply not built to process. So we're holding the pain from others. This generalized pain of watching a world keep repeating its mistakes. War, anybody? So that's where I'm going to stop for today. Let me make a little mark so I remember where to start for tomorrow. I'm going to guess that this is likely to be a 3-day process, us going through this. But hopefully there were things in what I said that make you want to investigate this more. So, because the more of us, excuse me, who come into a sense of knowing about this stuff, whether others believe it or not, doesn't matter. The further ahead I think we're going to get with all this stuff. So, again, this particular recording was on Beyondin. It's on YouTube, Beyondin. That's the person who put this out. And this one is entitled Edgar Cayce, Final Plan for Souls Born 1945 to 1965. So I'm hoping this kind of stirs some curiosity and some interest in all of you, and that maybe you will go and watch this little thing. Maybe you'll take your own notes. Maybe you'll share it with someone else you think would value the information. But again, tomorrow and probably the next day, we'll be talking about it again. So have an awesome Monday. We'll see you again tomorrow. Remember, you're capable of far more than you think you are. Bye-bye.